What is up? Welcome to my channel, the place where you can get all of your air-cooled and water-cooled Porsche needs met. And if you're here today because you're interested in learning more about the 981 Spyder, then I got great news for you, because that's exactly what I'm gonna give you today, content on this fantastic platform. This channel is designed to give guys just like you a real world, no nonsense, no frills, no track footage, no overproduced view of what it's like to live with, own, enjoy Porsche ownership. In this video, I'm gonna take you through this Guards Red 2016 Spyder behind me. I'm gonna take you through the driving experience. I'm gonna give you some walk around footage. I'll let you see some interior footage. I know for me, if I'm ever like thinking about buying a car, I just want to learn more. I love like seeing a lot of detail about it. So that's what I'm going to give you. At the end of this video, I'm also going to tell you why I personally think the 981 Spyder is better than the 981 GT4. This is the point in time where I would ask you to subscribe to this channel, but I know every single person who watches YouTube is tired of YouTubers asking for that. So subscribe if you want. Don't subscribe. Either way, let's jump into the video. All right guys, welcome to my video on this 981 Boxster Spyder. This car could quite possibly be the most fun car I've ever owned. This is not like, oh, I just bought the car, I'm super excited, I have the new car fever. I've owned this car for several months, 3.5 in fact, and so, you know, the new car fever, the new car euphoria has worn off. I feel like because I gave this some time before I brought it on the channel, I've had the opportunity to have that like wear off. And so, you know, I can give you an honest feel for what I think the car is. And man, it is fantastic. We'll jump inside. For me, I feel like these lightweight buckets, Racetex wheel and shifter, the inside of this car feels special. It feels GT4-esque. A friend of mine has the sofa seats. He loves them. In fact, I ordered sofa seats, 18 ways, in a 992 Carrera T that I have coming. I'll share that whole ordering process on the channel. But, you know, I appreciate the comfort factor of the 18 ways. However, man, jumping into these LWBs, once you do the acrobatics of jumping over the jumping over the bolster, like once you're in, you just feel an elevated sense of, man, I'm in something special. I love the, you know, the stitching. You got the deviated red stitching there. 10,433 miles, there you go. And I think it had like 7,600 when I bought it. And I mean, I ripped this car. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the exterior design of the Spyder. I think it's gorgeous. Of course, it's no 911, but Porsche did a great job with the design on this car. And limited edition, man, you can't beat that. Let's now jump in the car. We'll go for a ride. Okay, so I thought the best place to start would be by climbing into this lightweight bucket. Every time I get in and out, I slide the seat forward and backward. I've just found it's the best way to get in without like bumping your hips and hitting your knees on the steering wheel and so forth. And so if you're not super athletic or not inclined to go through a little bit of a process whenever you're jumping in and out of a car, I would urge you to really think through owning these seats, whether it's in the GT4 or any other car that offers them. I love the ergonomics. I love the Racetex shifter, the Racetex steering wheel. Some will complain and say the steering wheel is impractical. This material, they're always looking for leather because, you know, over time your skin oils get into this Alcantara / Racetex and it starts to get nasty. I have found a product that will get this steering wheel back to new. It's called Sonax. I'll link it down in the description in case you've got a Racetex wheel and you're interested in picking something up that will definitely get the job done. The seats themselves, the seat bottoms are Racetex, the seat backs. Sonax will work on all of this. For me, sitting in the lightweight bucket, the layout of this cabin, top off, I'm telling you, if you are considering dropping 100 grand on a Porsche, this is something that you really want to look for if you can find it. Let us get underway. So here's the deal, guys. Always Sport Plus, always Sport Exhaust. Now I've spent 90% of my time driving this car with the top down. I think that really is what it's all about with this Spyder. That said, with the top up, AC blasting when it's super hot, like 95 degrees out, I mean, it really is not a bummer. Sorry about that. I mean, it's not noisy, it doesn't rattle, but again, like I said, I mean, most of the time it's about top-down fun. This car is incredibly forgiving in the twisties. As I said, my trip into the mountains, my buddies were like calling me a cheater and discounting my driving skills because this car is so well balanced and effortless, but I don't know, like it really just kind of took some of the stress out of the weekend. I was able to cruise, I was able to rip, and it wasn't as harrowing of an experience as it is in a 911. Now let me pause on that topic. I'm an air-cooled guy at heart. If you've been watching the channel, and I've gotten some feedback about this, guys are thinking I'm abandoning air-cooled and getting into water-cooled Porsches. That's not the case. I am expanding my variety of interests, but I'm not going anywhere with regards to my love for air-cooled. Air-cooled Porsche 911 driving in the mountains is a certain skill set that is required to get the most out of the car. And so when you're driving the Spyder up there, you don't have to worry about that as much. That said, this Spyder will spoil you. So if I drive this car too much and then I get into an air-cooled 911, like I gotta be a little bit careful driving the 911 spiritedly, because it's easy to get used to this 50-50 weight balance, and then you get into the 911 and you may make a mistake. So that's just a little bit of a word of warning if you're like me and you kind of like, you're interested in having one of these mid-engine cars, but you also have air-cooled 911s. I think there's no better, I should say this, I have heard a lot of exhaust setups on Porsches, and I think that the sport exhaust on this, and I doubt you're able to pick it up just this minute, but when you're going from third to second, decelerating, and you just use rev match, like that popping, that crackling, that noise, like there's no better exhaust sound out there, I think. So let me talk a little bit about comfort. I think you guys have probably been able to conclude that this car is pretty dang comfortable for long distance driving. I think, and I've told a lot of guys this, so I owned side by side with this car a 981 GT4, and that thing was next level. It was a very special car. The elevated experience inside of the cabin, when you fired up the motor, you just got that GT car like clatter, rattle. You just knew you were in something very, very special. But that car was pretty edgy too. It was very track focused. It was hard to get the most out of it on the street. Not because it was too fast. I mean, it could be fast, but it was too edgy. So what I've told my friends, they said, hey, look, what's this Spyder like? Next to the GT4, and I would say that the Spyder has taken everything that's cool about the 981 GT4 and knocked the edges off. So the motor the motor almost as fast, almost as powerful as the GT4, definitely powerful enough, but it doesn't have that rattle, that clatter, that GT car feel or sound that you get in some of those cars. GT3 is the same way, GT3 RS. You're just not getting that in this car. It's smoother, it's silkier. Now, the 6-speed manual, I believe, is the same exact trans that's taken out of the GT4. Such a joy to drive. The best throws I've ever experienced in really any car. I do cheat. I leave rev match on all the time. I don't know. I've done that in every car that had it. I still like a manual blip with the foot and all that you get to do in the air-cooled Porsches. But when you have rev match, it's just a lot. I don't know. There's just something very gratifying about that perfect blip. So good. So good. The electric steering is something that guys complain about. I mean, I understand that you're losing a little bit of feel when you compare that to the hydraulic steering, but I haven't noticed it being an issue. I mean, maybe I'm just not that sensitive when it comes to that kind of thing. I don't miss it. Also, though, I'm lucky enough to have some air-cooled Porsches. My 86 911, I mean, you want to talk about feeling every undulation of the road through the steering. There's that. So I guess, you know, for me, part of that is you get to scratch that itch with it. Another complaint guys have is that this car, these Caymans, or excuse me, the Caymans, Boxsters, the gearing is too long. GT4, same thing. I mean, I get it. It does feel like, you know, once you go from 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, you're on some long trip that takes a while to hit that red line. But I'm getting the most power from 3 to 5, 3,000 to 5,000 RPM. It's just a very positive engagement, man. You shift in that range, like every time you hit the next gear, it just keeps pulling, keeps pulling, keeps pulling. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with the long gearing. I don't see that it's an issue. I know some people do. One complaint I have about this car, and I just don't understand why somebody did this. It doesn't have to do with the model, the generation itself. It has to do with the daggum head unit in this car. So this car has the basic head unit, which means if I want to listen to streaming music on my phone, I have to actually plug it into an auxiliary cord. And, you know, so this is a 2016 model year. Like, that feels like 2004 to me. So I don't know what somebody was thinking when they spec'd that head unit, especially when they paired it with the Bose sound system in the car. So the Bose system sounds amazing. While the speaker system's good, this head unit is an absolute joke. I understand that there are some solutions out there. I'm not sure if it's applicable to this head unit, but I know that there are some solutions to bring CarPlay into a head unit like this. But, you know, I don't think I'm going to get into all that. I'll just use the plug and kind of just, it is what it is. I don't feel, you know, this is a little bit of an odd sidebar, but I'd love to hear you guys tell me what you think about this. Like, I've gotten to a place where it's almost like I'm not that interested in modding heavily. Like, I don't think this car needs anything, except, as soon as I say that, I put the spacer under the front of the seat. The design's by Jacob Spacer to get the front of the seat up just a bit. That enhances the seating position for me. I find that the LWBs, as they come from the factory, the front of them are too close to the floor. So I put the spacer in there to get it right. But outside of that, I don't feel the need to mod this car. When I first started my Porsche journey, I was into modding, into personalizing. I think I made some improvements to my cars, but I also think I made some mistakes with them. I'm gonna give you a little exhaust taste. So good. I don't know if you guys were able to pick up that. I was under an overpass. Sounds so good, and I just freaking blew that guy away. Anyway, back to my final point. If you have 100 grand to spend, you've been saving your pennies, and you're interested in buying a Porsche, you probably have your heart set on a 911, and I don't blame you. That is the iconic Porsche to buy. However, for me, I think if I could only have one Porsche, it would be this 981 Spyder. So I don't know if this is giving you food for thought. I hope it has. Keep your eyes peeled. I got air-cooled content coming. My 992 Carrera T journey's coming. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely do it if you want to be notified, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm out of here.